is in Ward 9 here. This house is in Ward 9. And one of the major issues, and I think David kind of touched on this, but one of the major issues were what were these candidates going to do about foreclosures and evictions in Ward 9? And I think that's a real testament to the work that Occupy Homes has done over the last 2 years, the fact that that is such a dominant issue on the city agenda, and that we are forcing politicians and people around the city and the state to actually discuss what they're going to do about this crisis. And we invited a couple of people running in the race, candidates, to come and speak this evening. And Alondra Cano had to give apologies kind of last minute. She had something come up, but I do have Ty Moore here, who is running as an independent, socialist, alternative, Green Party endorsed candidate here in Ward 9. And we'd like to just have him say a few words to why he's here today.
Well, I'd be here even if I wasn't running for office, as I've been involved with Occupy Homes since the early days. But I think what these demonstrations are important. It's obviously, I think the first important thing is to keep Jaymie, the Ceballos family, and others fighting back in their homes. But what these demonstrations also do is they send out a reminder that the foreclosure crisis, the crisis that Wall Street has created in our communities, is far from over. The corporate media is putting out these messages, well, there's a recovery in the housing market, you know, this problem's sort of passing by. And that the subtext of that, from the point of view of the protesters, is, you know, quit your whining, the economy's back on, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and solve these problems. Even though the worst of the crisis has, for the time being, passed, foreclosure rates are still 2 to 3 times higher than they were in the pre-crisis levels. We still face historic scales of devastation. In one zip code in Northside, as many Occupy activists know, over half the homes have been foreclosed on since 2007. In this neighborhood, Powderhorn and Central alone, 900 homes have faced foreclosure. That is right. I've been walking up and down these blocks just yesterday, leafleting for this event, and everybody knows somebody, knows a neighbor who has faced foreclosure. Everybody has seen this level of devastation. At Green Central School, they face even higher rates of highly mobile and homeless students than they did a couple years ago. We're seeing a continuation of the destabilization that has ripped the social fabric of our communities up. There is more that the city could do, and one of the reasons I wanted to run was to start pushing this debate forward. In Richmond, California, many of you know, the city has decided to use eminent domain to compel the banks to bring down underwater home mortgages back to market value, to force the banks to renegotiate. And if they won't, to buy those homes back themselves in the name of the city and resell them at market value to the homeowners. This is a step our city government has so far refused to do. It's in the debate, it's in the dialogue. The mayoral candidates are even talking about it, but it's going to take a major movement, tremendous social pressure from below. Because Wall Street is trying to make an example out of Richmond. Wall Street's using every legal trick they have. They are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees and in propaganda to try and convince the people of Richmond that they're going to face further devastation if they go this course than if they don't. The Obama administration has even threatened to blackmail by cutting off credit from the Federal Housing Authority to people of Richmond if they go forward with this case. The only way Richmond will succeed is if cities like ours across the country stand up with Richmond in solidarity and say, no, we're going to put people over profits in our communities. We're going to say that Wall Street shouldn't be owning the homes and running the show of the housing economy, that we want to have democratic community control over our houses. We don't want homes and the right to a home be bought and sold on the market as a commodity sold to the highest bidder, and where people, if you can't afford it, you don't have the right to a home. We should have the right to a home, just like we have the right to an education, we have the right to vote, we have the right to food, we have the right to, health care, etc. This country doesn't treat many of those rights like rights, but they're recognized worldwide as basic fundamental human rights, and we're trying to fight. That's what this fight is all about. It's trying to say that we need a fundamental restructuring of our economy to make sure the basic needs of people are met. And I think Jaymie is an excellent figurehead for this movement, as an institution of this community, So many people know her. As I'm knocking doors, everybody knows Jaymie. If they don't know Jaymie, they at least know Jaymie's cows, and they're outraged that she's going to be kicked out of this house. So powerful. Thank you so much for coming out.